In the summer of 2008, a team of balloon twisters began an undertaking that, while not larger than life, was still as large as life. And when you are talking about a T-Rex, large as life is pretty big indeed.
What have we really gotten ourselves into? Can we really make a dinosaur skeleton out of balloons?
It is after a long night that head balloon twister Jeremy Telford begins to bring balloons down to the basement of his on-campus housing complex at Brigham Young University. Jeremy and his wife Kristen have spent a sleepless night preparing for the start of this build, and already they're a little behind. One down. 499 or so to go. Starting at midnight, Jeremy hoped to treat 500 balloons with a viscous substance called high float, which coats the inside of the balloon, and when it dries forms an extra barrier, making it harder for the air to escape. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a time-consuming, messy endeavor, which took all night and ended with only 400 balloons ready to twist. Kristen spent hours calculating the sizes of the bones of the skeleton from a book provided by their paleontology expert, Andy Stanton. In it were pictures and information about the bones of Sue, the largest and most complete T-Rex find to date. But Sue was no name for a T-Rex made completely from balloons. We decided on a name for this one.
Was it Bubbles?
It was Bubbles.
Yes.
Bubbles.
That one's Sue, this will be named Bubbles.
Very appropriate.
Jeremy and Andy planned to meet early the first day to prepare the build for the other balloon twisters by taping out the size of each of the vertebrae. It is their hope to complete the spine in this first day of building. It soon becomes apparent that taping the size of each of the bones from the tail to the spine would be a very time-consuming project. And considering the narrowing nature of the vertebra in the tail, they decide to tape every fifth bone instead. Soon the other twisters begin to arrive. They are ready to work, but not entirely sure what they are supposed to be doing. Jeremy breaks them into teams. Heather Jensen and Kristen begin working on making the hourglass-shaped part of the vertebra called the centrum. Travis Hadley and Brendan Rollins begin building the sail-looking neural arches that make up the top of the vertebra. Each of the pieces are marked, so they will know how to attach them together later. Many of the balloon twisters have spouses and small families. Children are constantly present at the build and serve to both entertain and distract. By the middle of the day, it becomes obvious that they don't have enough balloons pumped to be able to complete the backbone and tail. Having completed the tail, they split into teams taping out the backbone for the next day's build, and treating and pumping up more balloons. By the end of the day, the whole team has a love-hate relationship with the high float. High float is a substance, it's a water-soluble plastic. Honestly, I could probably pump up and tie about 5 balloons for every one of these I'm just pumping up. So it's a little bit frustrating. High float's made for helium balloons and not for balloon animal balloons. And so the pump isn't made to fill all the way down and coat the entire balloon, so I have to make do with jerry rigging something. It works. Just time consuming. This is the reason I didn't get any sleep last night, actually. They end the day by taking the completed balloons up to Jeremy and Kristen's 600 square foot apartment. The bones quickly fill the living room. The first day is finally finished, and they are nearly a half a day's work behind their original schedule, and very, very tired.
Oh. You okay, sweetheart? Okay.